Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
Don't you know about Baloo?
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 What is Baloo?
Baloo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baloo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluo, better than sending money.
Immovable assets, including developed and undeveloped landed properties, chattels, shares, and other acquisitions by former President Yahya Jammeh upon the expiration on 17 June 2019 of the freezing order of the High Court. 3. The immediate forfeiture to the state of all movable and immovable assets, including developed and undeveloped landed properties, chattels, shares, and other acquisitions by Mr. Mohamed Bazzi, a close associate of former President Jammeh. And 5 or 4, the immediate forfeiture to the state of all monies in all frozen commercial bank accounts in the Gambia upon the expiration on 17 June 2019 of the freezing order of the High Court. All financial institutions in the country, especially the commercial banks, are hereby advised to take note of this action and announcement, which will soon be followed by correspondence specifically addressed to each of them. His Excellency the President has also approved the establishment of an interministerial task force at both the technical and ministerial levels, comprising the Ministries of Justice, Finance, Local Government and Lands, Tourism and Agriculture, to handle all matters in relation to the said interim measures, and to deal especially with third-party interests arising from claims of properties acquired by former President Jammeh, and taking into account the recommendations of the Commission. In view of this decision, the proposed Commission of Inquiry into lands that were unlawfully confiscated, demolished, or otherwise unlawfully acquired by former President Jammeh will no longer be necessary, as the said task force will now handle all third-party claims to property vis-à-vis President Jammeh to the extent possible. Furthermore, I am also inviting all those persons whose properties were acquired by former President Jammeh through a judicial sale by the Sheriff of the High Court to contact the Solicitor General or the Attorney General at the Ministry of Justice in person or through authorized third parties between 24th and 28th of June 2019. All other persons with claims over any of the properties of former President Jammeh are hereby advised to address their claims in writing to the Ministry of Justice by 28 June 2019 and to meanwhile desist from interfering with any of the said properties forfeited to the state. These measures will be published in the Gazette as public notice. More information about the measures and other subsequent actions will be included in the government white paper. I once again take this opportunity to call on the international community, particularly our friends and allies in the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, the Africa region, and the Middle East, with expertise and experience in asset recovery to assist the Gambia track and recover stolen assets belonging to the state. The Gambia desperately needs all the assistance it can get in this endeavor. I now turn to the TRRC. I have today filed a nolle prosequi, effectively terminating legal proceedings against Ms. Fatoumata Jawumpasise and Mr. Yankuba Toure, who were being prosecuted for various offenses, including conspiracy to interfere with a TRRC witness. All charges against them in respect of these offenses have now been dropped. Interfering with a TRRC witness is a very serious offense, and I hope that there are lessons here for everyone. While I am not yet in a position to inform the public of my reasons for taking this decision, but I hope to be able to do so later, I also take this opportunity to renew my call for all witnesses or potential witnesses to cooperate fully with the TRRC as it tries to establish the truth about our dark past and help us reconcile as a nation. Any attempts to undermine this national healing process in any manner will bear serious consequences. On security sector reform, over the past 2 weeks, 2 drafting teams have been commissioned to draft 2 strategy documents for the security sector reform process. About 2 days ago, we launched the National Security Policy under the chairmanship of His Excellency the President. The members of the drafting teams include representatives from the Ministries of Justice, Defense, and Interior, from the different security agencies, and from the Ministry of Women's Affairs. They will be drafting the National Security Strategy to implement the National Security Policy and the Security Sector Reform Strategy to specifically address the findings and recommendations of the Security Sector Reform Assessment Report, which was completed in December 2017. They have up to 3 months to complete both drafts. A 5-day retreat has been organized for them from June 17 to 21st to kickstart the drafting exercise. We will endeavor to provide you with a timeline of activities and deliverables in this critical reform process soon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I had for you today. I'll take a few questions and then we'll call it a day. Abu Bakr?
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Everything was clear. Abu Bakr Seaview, a freelance journalist. My first question will go to the issue of Yankuba Toure and Fatoumata Jawumpasise, who are being accused of interfering with the ongoing witnesses that are giving evidences at the TRRC. Now that the Minister of the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General have decided to drop the charges against these two accused persons. In an instance that they decided to sue the government of damages, what would be your position?
Well, sometimes it's always useful to perhaps conduct a bit of research before some of these questions are put.
Yes.
What would they sue the government for? Maybe is what you should ask yourself before you ask the question. What are you thinking about? What's in your mind? I don't know what they will be suing the government for, to answer your question. I don't understand your question.
Right, sir.
Maybe you can think about it and come back to me. It's up to you. If you have the follow-up question, by all means. But what do you think they can sue the government for?
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think they can sue the government for?
No, I don't want to talk about my own, but I think there is this opportunity for an accused person who has been accused by somebody and been taken to court or detained for a while. But if the charges, if the court now have investigated your case and decided to drop a charge against you, you have the legal right to use Section 19 against anybody who accuse you.
I didn't know you were a lawyer now.
No, I'm not a lawyer.
You're interpreting the Section 19. Oh, well, I'm afraid your fears are unfounded.
Unfounded.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Yes, I'm Kerr Ansumane. I'm from Chronicle News Agency, sir. Thank you very much for inviting us here. First, like what Senator have said, don't you think Gambia government has not, or let me say, the Attorney General Office has not done his job adequately before they will go ahead or prosecute Yankuba and Jammeh Sise. And the other issue is
No, but you need to clarify. Why do you think that is the case? Your question has to be
yes. I mean,
full.
what I'm saying
Yes.
is whether, don't you think in your capacity as the Minister and the Attorney General that Gambia government has wasted resources to prosecute these people, knowing that they will end up, dropping charges against them? First, because
No, hang on.
let me come.
No, that's not your first question. Your first question is, don't you think we should have done our homework first?
Yes.
So you need to clarify that. What do you mean by that?
Like knowing that, because I was at the court when witness Alaji Kani said the time he was communicating with Yankuba and Jahumpa,
No, let's not
called by the commission at that time.
Yeah, I know, but let's not get into the facts. You're not a lawyer. You're not in court.
Yeah,
you don't know the reasons for my decision. So don't assume.
No, I'm not assuming. What I'm saying is when I was there, what has been said there.
Then I know what has been said because I'm the one who's prosecuting. And you're assuming, because the reason why you said we should have done our homework, you're assuming that we have dropped these charges for reasons related to the evidence in court. That's the assumption you're making. And I'm telling you that you're wrong. That's not the premise. You shouldn't ask questions with an assumption. Ask questions to which you seek genuine answers and you will get them. But don't ask questions on the basis of assumptions.
Well, if
You do not know the reason for my decision, do you?
No.
So how do you assume?
Now, in the face of this issue, now why did the state will drop the charges against them? Why do you think the state?
Well, I have just said I am not yet in a position to share that information
Okay, now
with
let
you.
me use that as my first question. Now, the second question I want to forward is, Jammeh's properties CISO has been announced here. We understand there are others who has been adversely mentioned during the findings of the Jammeh Commission. What is going to be the decision of the Attorney General and Justice Minister in prosecuting some of those who may be indicted, during the course of the finding?
You will get to know.
That I would like to know. Third question is what has the Attorney General and Minister of Justice done so far in the case of the Kanilai shooting recently? Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll take your second question. It is not for the Attorney General to take any action. The Constitution empowers the President to take action. And the President, I have said this on numerous occasions, that the President has 6 months. So when the 6 months is over, you can come back to me and ask these questions. But the actions that will be taken will be included in a white paper, just like we did in the Faraba Banta case. Now, we are taking interim measures on those matters that we think can be done immediately based on our ongoing review of the Commission's report. But we have not yet concluded that review. But so far, we believe we have enough to take interim measures, and that is the result of this announcement today. But hopefully, by the time we complete our total review or full review of the report, we would be able to share, if the President so decides, to publish the report in the next 3 months. So again, he has 6 months, so that's not up to me. Now, in terms of the Haruna Jatta incident, again, unfortunately, that is a matter that is not within. You see, the Ministry of Justice doesn't have law enforcement under it. I only give advice, and I give advice when that advice is requested. When the files are investigated and sent here, that is when we are involved. That's when we get involved in these matters. I have said over and over again that that incident was investigated jointly by the Gambia Armed Forces and ECOMIC. And I think it's about time that you start channeling your inquiry about that incident to those bodies and not to the Ministry of Justice. I can't give you what I don't have. I don't have an answer for you, I'm afraid. And I have actually attempted, as part of my functions as Minister of Justice and Justice for All, to reach out and inquire about the state of investigations into that matter, because it was raised a couple of times at the National Assembly. To this day, I have not yet received a response to my inquiry. That's the best I can give you, I'm afraid. Let me go to this side. Yes, Lavo. Oh, sorry. Cisse had his hand up first. Okay, go ahead. I can see that.
Thank you. My question is with regards to the forfeiture of assets belonging to the former president. We know there are some of the assets that are some very expensive buildings, like the building he has in Kainai, but also the building he has in US. Have there been decisions as to whether these structures should be disposed of, as they may not be needed to be owned by the state? And if so, whether that decision is going to take effect anytime soon. And second is, I know the Justice Ministry of the government before have requested the help of the World Bank Asset Recovery Committee, and there have been some welcoming news with regards to corporations of states like United States in looking for assets belonging to the former president. I want to know if there had been any success in locating other assets that are not necessarily known to us, as in the US, the Parliament building and the South Square. Thank you.
Thank you, Davo. With respect to your first question, the task force that has been established by the President will look into the different categories of properties, and they will be handling and dealing with these properties and advising the President appropriately on what use to put to these properties. So the task force is yet to convene. It has only been launched recently, been established recently. We haven't even had our inaugural meeting yet. But that is the role of this task force, to basically go through the list of properties and to determine on a case-by-case basis what appropriate action or measures to take with respect to each property. In terms of the property in the United States, I am engaged in discussions with authorities in the United States regarding that property as well. I believe I had information that the property was frozen. I am involved in exchanges with the ambassador who is here, Ambassador Pascal, and we have been working on this, and I think that's all I can say for the time being. It's the same I will also say with respect to properties or other properties outside the country. Asset tracking and recovery is a very sensitive matter, and people have the ability to move assets around the world, and we are cooperating with several governments. I'm not at liberty to disclose the nature or the identity of those governments, Otherwise, I risk endangering the process of recovery because those assets can be moved very quickly. And let's remember that the assets recovery effort outside the Gambia are not, unfortunately, within our control. They are on foreign territory. They are subject to foreign laws, and we can only rely on the goodwill and support and cooperation of those countries where some of these assets are. So unfortunately, that's all I can give you in terms of the assets outside the country. Cisse?
Thank you very much, Honorable. With regards to the issue of Jammeh's assets, what do you say to those that suggest that Jammeh deserves to be hard for the public cases?
He deserves to be?
To be hard.
Well, he was given an opportunity to be heard. I think the Commission of Inquiry reached out and served him, I recall certainly, but he didn't take that opportunity, so we can't do much about that. But I think he was given the opportunity to be heard, certainly. Bye.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Talking about the security sector reform, in the report, Article 19, Fatou she was, raising concern about the system and the same person who served the former regime are still in the system. What do you think of that, first of all? And secondly, we had also in the report that to the donors to the TRC that Senegal is included, and we would like to have a confirmation from you, and it is yes, and how much Senegal has given to the Ghana. Thank you very much. If I have it in English and in Wolof, if possible.
It's up to you. I can do either English or Wolof.
Both of it.
Okay, let me start with your question on serving members of the former regime. I think there are a few basic facts we need to establish here. There's nothing wrong in principle to serving under the former regime. There's nothing wrong in principle. When people have not engaged in acts that are criminal or inappropriate, we should not be judgmental about them. We should not label people simply because they have served under the former president. If that is the case, then we might as well disband our entire security apparatus. And we have seen the consequences of that in Iraq following the US invasion. That's not an approach we have even contemplated. Yes, there has been severe delay in the security sector reform process. I think we all acknowledge that. And perhaps that is why His Excellency appointed me as the chair to inject fresh impetus and energy into the process. But the fact remains, it's a very delicate, sensitive matter. We want to get it right. We don't want people to we don't want to create a new class of victims in this country anymore. We want whatever actions we're doing, we base it on facts and not on assumptions. And those facts need to be established first and foremost. So hopefully we will begin to see more activity in the security sector reform. But I do accept that it's slow. It should have perhaps been accelerated at a particular point. That's not the case. But serving under the former regime by and of itself is not a crime.
Some of them have been allegedly, mentioned to the TRC.
Yes, a lot of people have been mentioned at the TRC, and a lot more will continue to be mentioned at the TRC. The point is this: do you want to establish the truth first and foremost, or do you want to preempt what the TRC will conclude in respect of those who have been mentioned? How do you balance the issue of due process? At the same time, of course, we need to be worried about those who have been mentioned, certainly, but we also need to provide them with an opportunity to be heard, like we have heard some of the others who've come forward, who are still serving and have admitted to participating in these atrocities. others need to be heard as well. So we need to approach this with caution and not rush things, because we are in a position of responsibility and we need to take this responsibility seriously. Yeah? That's my response to your first question. Yes, Senegal has indeed been very generous to contribute to the TRRC. Unfortunately, the nature of the contribution is such that I am not yet in a position to pinpoint the exact amount, because it's to be derived from a particular activity. Hopefully very soon, maybe by my next press conference, I would be able to tell you exactly how much Senegal is contributing to our TRRC process. But in principle, yes, they are contributing. How much exactly, I am not yet in a position to share with you. Okay? Go ahead. Briefly. Let me just take the order.
Okay, thank you so much. I will honor you by standing up. My name is Kerr from Foreign Newspaper. Well, I have just a question in the content of, does the reform of the security sector take into account adherence to the rule of law, such as detention without trial or trials, and compliance with court orders? Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Forget about the security sector reform. I think the entire governance architecture of this new Gambia is based solidly on respect for the rule of law and compliance with court orders. Now, I would be happier if you were more specific in those two areas, but I am assuming that you are referring, and correct me if I am wrong, that you are referring to the case of the junglers on one hand and to the decision at Kerr on the other hand. And I think I have responded to both issues in my last press conference in June here. Your colleague was here, and I did respond. Allow me perhaps to summarize again. I have admitted that the issue of the junglers is an unfortunate one. It's been a difficult matter for me personally as a human rights advocate. But we have found ourselves after the change in an extraordinary situation. The junglers are an extraordinary group of people who have admitted to the most terrible crimes in this country. Our options were either to bring them to court and be compelled to proceed with a case when we do not yet have the material, human, the infrastructural, logistics, resources necessary to undertake such a trial in this country yet, or to release them to the public. Those were the options we had. We could take neither. And so the unfortunate thing is that they have been in detention for a while now. I have engaged with the TRRC, and we are working to facilitate their voluntary appearance at the TRRC soon. So hopefully that will resolve the matter of the junglers for me. On Kerr there has been a court order allowing the one part of the community to return to the village. But as I said here during my last press conference, if that were to happen and violence erupts in the village between the two sets of communities and it results in death or injuries, you would come back to us and say the government is irresponsible, because we have allowed two communities who at the moment cannot be reconciled to, we've basically forced them to leave. Of course the court order has to be respected, but there are different ways of enforcing a court order, and I think the Honorable Chief Justice has engaged the Minister of Lands. I am involved in that as well, to see how best we can mediate between the two communities so that at least those whose rights have been recognized by the court are allowed back into the village and in a more peaceful and stable environment. Otherwise, if we force the community that is there right now to accept these orders and not provide the necessary security in the area, then we would be blamed for any violent consequences. And so, and we can't afford that. Our security services, particularly the police, are very overstretched, and we can't have permanently stationed in the village members of the PIU. Otherwise, it will affect other parts of the country. So that's the situation with Kermit Ali. It's not a matter of not enforcing or respecting the court order. It's a matter of how best to implement that court order. That's what I would say to you. I think you all seem happy. No questions? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bolo kol kan sai na so kono mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bolo kol kan anda ka ba official kono ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta funtula no ko mbato ngane ta ya puri yamma ko do banta ngata mano sani tulo ni jam
munda bete ni la broda man balo service kalam
mon service
balo service
ni da foronte mo kalam
munda afela broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balo.com nay wo sajje a apo ñu ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko no daminto ito message so yo telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba bele ko ta tano dawda yeta fenko tawo
wodama
yala
bari wo service na ta molda han ata ñole be kan fi jalla bro dan ka ko ayo ko ti ta
Baloo service dinkirala jampo wo manken na kolaya ko Baloo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono Baloo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko tan so Baloo service la kolto ali commandi telephone line la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluo.com.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful Seaview and Lakeview. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.